Hello, friends. So, you want to automate even more of your image making, huh? Man, I cannot believe how lazy you are. But alright, you know what? I'm not here to judge. So let's hop right into this short video. And for those who are less lazy, keep an eye out because I'll have a more in-depth tutorial out soon. But for now, let's just get started. So what we are doing here is we are going to have a VLM, a visual language model, look at images and give us prompts so that we can recreate these images in ComfyUI. So there's a bunch of reasons why you might want to do this. Maybe you want to go from an anime style image to a realistic image. Maybe you saw a cool drawing you want to mimic with different characters. There's a whole bunch of reasons why. So the first thing we need to do is to download our VLM, and we are going to use Florence-2. So we want to open up our Comfy Manager and select Custom Nodes, and we are going to search for Florence-2, and it should be this node by Kajai, which has 4 nodes. So you're going to install that, and you're going to restart ComfyUI. And once you restart, you will have access to these 2 nodes here. Download and load Florence-2 model. This is really handy because we can select what version of Florence-2 we want. And I'll be using Florence-2 Large Prompt Gen version 2.0. And the node will actually download it for us so we don't have to mess around in Hugging Face and then put everything into our ComfyUI folder. The next node we want is this Florence-2 run node. And here we can choose the kind of task that we want Florence-2 to do. So what we are going to want is to create a detailed caption. You can see you can also do OCR or prompt gen with tags if you're working with Illustrious. But because today I'm working with Klein 9b, I'm going to just go with detailed caption. Now, in addition to this, we want 2 other nodes. We're going to have a concatenate node and a preview as text node. So the concatenate node is because Florence-2 doesn't give us the full prompt that we want to use. Because I want to convert this image to a real photograph, I'm going to write this out here. And I'm also going to add small eye, small face because Klein tends to keep the anime appearance a bit too much. And then we feed the caption that Florence-2 makes into part B of the concatenate function. And this node is going to take these 2 strings and then combine them into one, and it's going to send it off to the clip text encoder here, which is going to use as a prompt. The other node that I use is preview as text, and the reason for this is because when Florence-2 is running, we never actually see what it saw in any of these other nodes. So your prompt isn't going to show up down here, and it's not going to show up here. So just to make sure everything's running okay, and to make sure that Florence-2 is actually seeing things correctly, we want to use this preview as text node. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to use this primitive node. And this primitive node is really handy because it automates the importation from the input file. So we take the primitive node and we connect it here to image, and we can now see all of the files in our input folder. So for me, I want this one here, sunflower01, and I'm going to set it to increment wrap. And what this means is that when it gets to the top of the folder, which is here, it's going to loop back around and go to the next file in the list. So that way, if I, set my number of runs to 8, it's just going to run through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Which is really handy, and it just automates this process so you don't have to keep clicking. And by the way, you can use this primitive node in a lot of different places. For example, here, if we were put it on the task, like let's say you want to loop through the different types of tasks that you can do to just compare what a detailed caption looks like versus a more detailed caption versus a normal caption. So we could just select, caption, and then you could put increment, and then every single run, this would go through the list. So go caption, detailed caption, more detailed caption, and so on. But for now, we're just going to work with detailed caption. That should be good enough. And then we can just hit run. And the first time this runs for you, it's going to take a while because the Florence-2 save tensor file has to download. So, while you're waiting for that, hit that like, hit that subscribe, go out there, hit the gym. You'll feel a lot better. And the next time it runs, though, thankfully you don't have to re-download it. But just the first time you run it, it's very handy. And when we're done, here we are. And doesn't that look great? So thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please come back again for more.